few radio stations. But the national radio, Radio Nigeria, that is FRC and Enugu, gave me the opportunity to write a news commentary on Nigeria's 48th independence celebration. Before I came here, I looked at that document again. It was only 2-page commentary over the news that was read. And I just shook my head. That was the era of Christiane Amanpour. Many of you in the media will know that name. She's still alive.
Yes.
Of the CNN. And I quoted her extensively in my... At the end, I said, thus far, fair enough, but we needed to do more. 17 years after, Signature Television is giving me that rare opportunity, that rare privilege again, to review Nigeria at 65. That is 70 years after I had reviewed it before. I want to thank Signature Television, like I thanked the FRCN. It is well. You know, at 65, if you're a parent and their son or daughter hits 65 years, you will not see that child, as a child anymore. You see him as of ripe age, if not very ripe age. And what does that mean? Those of us who read the Bible says, when I was a child, I thought like a child. But now that I'm a man, I think differently. So at 65, from the year 1960, all Nigerians who are the children of Nigeria will say that our parent is of ripe age. And our parents should no longer be thinking as a child. He should be thinking as a man. The difference in those thought cycles is very clear. And that is where we are. How far, Niger? That is a popular thing in urban radio. How far, Niger? It's an entertainment, but the question is, how far have we gone? What did we expect? Where were we hoping we were going? What was our roadmap? How far have we gone at 65? Let us make any mistake about it. Nigeria, our country, our fatherland, has made tremendous progress since independence. Very tremendous. For example, by 1960 and the years that followed, we had only the first black and white television station in Nigeria. That was WNBS, Western Nigeria Television and Broadcasting Service. It was like a wonderful thing. Then several years later, an ENTV, Channel 50 followed, and so on. That was colored. I don't know whether you can count how many televisions, including the Signature Television. Isn't it wonderful? So we have a lot to be grateful to God. This is our God whom we don't see, but who is everywhere. He's doing wonderful things. And that's why I started by saying that is God, because I'm going to say more later. So let's take the journey. The man we are holding this discussion with is 22 years older than Nigeria. You must be wondering how come, what is this man talking about? I'm 22 years older than Nigeria, because I was 22 years when Nigeria became independent. A colleague of mine who was doing an analysis was even thinking, oh, we should have started our celebration birthday from 1914, when Nigeria was born, I reminded him, I said, no, you are wrong, my friend. Our birthday remains October 1, 1960, because between 1914 and 1960, we didn't have Nigeria. What we have are British amalgamated states. And between 1914 and 1959, anytime we came together, we didn't sing Nigeria, we held it. We sang God Bless Our Gracious Queen or King. We had a Union Jack. We didn't have a green, white, green for which Nigeria is known. So nobody should try to bring that confusion. Our birth date is first. So I'm going to start from there. Before then, I was a schoolboy. I went to school, primary school, secondary school, all under the colonial. I went into a university in Nigeria. Before then, we had the highest institution of learning in the whole country was a place called University College of London, situated in a country in Nigeria, in a town in Nigeria called Ibadan. It was not the University of Ibadan. For many young boys and young girls, they think that there has always been a University of Ibadan. What we had was University College London. And their degree was BA London, BSc London, PhD London, not Ibadan. Ibadan was a later development when Nigeria became independent. And when one of our leaders at that time, the Right Honorable Nnamdi Azikiwe, decided in the Eastern region that they were going to establish their own autonomous university called University, named the University of Nigeria. That was the first indigenous full-fledged university in the country. So as we are celebrating our 65th year, I think that University of Nigeria should also celebrate. But our problem now, how far Nigeria? How far University of Nigeria? How far our educational system? How far our transportation system? How far our governance system? Which brings me, the first 6 years of our independence remains the highlights, the highest standards that our country ever hoped to reach. When, after several meetings in Nigeria and in London, because we were married, we were enslaved by a colonial master called the United Kingdom. Perhaps if we were colonized by the French, we would be speaking French. But the mother tongue became, for Nigeria, became English because we were conquered by the English, who came with their own pattern of government and brought us up, first of all, making us learn how to do it for them before allowing us to do it for ourselves. This little background is very important to our young people and to them. To address them, there is a type of euphoria, probably because of advancement, that takes us off our feet, and we don't even start to say, we start to shout, hey, make all type of, hey, you hear it every day without anybody stopping to say, what are we shouting about? How true is it? So, those 6 years, 1960 to 66, were the best. Politically, we were alert. We were Zik of Africa. Socially, our culture was all over the Federation and the whole world. We are performers. get into the plane to go to UK and sell our ideas. And Nigeria was riding high. Economically, we were one of the best. And we had remarkable landmarks in Nigeria to show that. We were running a parliamentary system of government and a regional federal government which gave every part of our country, how be it homologous in their organization, the opportunity. Look, this is your own. Everything here belongs to you. Use it to develop yourself so that you don't feel like nobody is handling like the British handled you. And the British that were leaving us, there were discussions which we call constitutional conference, and they agreed that that was the best for a country like Nigeria, which has multifaceted religion, multifaceted culture, multifaceted ethnic groupings. And they thought that when you group these people and they are their own masters, they cannot turn to blame anybody for their own failures. What did it create? It created healthy competition. And so, in the Western region, cocoa, at that time you find cocoa farms all over the place, and they made a mark of it. And to record it, at that time, we had a tall building planted somewhere in Ibadan as the headquarters of the West at that time, with Lagos as capital of Nigeria. We had a cocoa house, the tallest building in the whole country at that time. Evidence of we have arrived. We are using our own resources to develop ourselves. And you leave the West and come to the East. Enugu. Nnamdi we thought. Because he went to university in America, he was educated in America, and he learned a lot. And he came here. And he saw how the colonial masters are using us as slaves in what we can do for ourselves. That's when the agitation for independence started. It didn't come easy. Many of our people went to prison. Autocratic. I am your master. You do what I tell you. That was then. And when we come after that, we see this is where we have failed, because we are still having that autocratic command by our own people against our own people to show you are either not rich or you are either not a clever politician, and so on. These are the nuances we are having in 65 years, but I'm talking about the first 60 years. And that was in the East. They used the natural resources that was rampant at that time, palm oil and palm kernel. That was what Eastern region was noted for at that time. And established a trading company called Eastern Nigeria Marketing Board under late Odumegwu Ojukwu, the father of our late hero, Emeka Odumegwu Ojukwu. A businessman, and they galvanized it. At that time there was war, and the palm oil and palm kernel was needed, and Eastern Nigeria was up there. And at that time, I want to tell our boys, when you say you passed a budget of a government, the entire money for the budget for that season, for that year, is in the treasury. Any other that's coming now at that time is addition. Economy was booming. We had only one university, apart from the university we established, later on we expanded what we called farm settlements. Isn't it true that a place like Singapore came to Nigeria, came to East Africa, and picked up palm oil and palm kernel and took it to their country to grow? Today, Singapore is one of the best producers of palm oil. Where are we? Those who sowed the seed, what has our own become? In the military, we tried, replace any palm that dies, you replace. We tried it. How much does palm oil cost us in Nigeria today? Then you lived it. You went to the north. Basically everything, cocoa, palm oil and produce, groundnuts, including cotton and all that things that were in the north. We produced so much for the world that the world could not even evacuate what we produced for them. And so we decided to build pyramids like Egypt, but pyramids of groundnut, covered them with tarpaulins. Many young people in Nigeria today do not know this fact. So look back, take my picture, and see how great we were. One last thing. At that time, you are going to England. We had what we call traveler's checks. So you went to the bank, you paid in your money. If you are going to England, they tell you how much it is worth. At that time, dollar was in the market. What was up naira at that time? Pound. We were using pound because we are British before we came to naira and independence. 1 naira was 70 cents, equivalent in American currency. So if you take 5 naira and 5 naira, you had 1 naira is 70 cents times 5. 70 times 5, 350. If 100 cents is $1, 700 means 7 point something dollar that in your hand for 1 naira. Gentlemen, we are supposed to move forward. What is it today? Just this morning we have been told, we've done very well. Our naira is now 1,400 for $1. 1,400. So if you want to get $1 today, with all our gracious praise of how well we have done, you get $1. Whereas in those days, those glorious days of our economic, social, and political progress, if you took 1 naira, you got $7.
All right, Chief Nduka.
So what the summary is that we have progressed. Let's make no doubt about it. We have. But along the line, we had challenges that retarded us rather than progressing us. And what is on the ground is that we are still not addressing those things that retard us. Instead, we are enhancing it. And that is why I think when we come now to our present, because we did talk about the military intervention, which was on its own another issue altogether.
Yeah, we'll be coming to that.
Yes, we'll be coming to that. Now, now you spoke about the overview of Nigeria before and now, and you also said. You talked about those who sowed the seed like Nnamdi Azikiwe and Obafemi Awolowo. Now, Obafemi Awolowo was a believer of organic federalism, and he, what he accomplished between 1953 to 1959, some would say that it was very much, phenomenal and exceptional. But then he left without being coerced. He left without being forced, no political issue. He left to join, to become the leader of opposition party at the center. And, then Saldana of the Sokoto actually became the prime minister at that time. Yes. Why do you think Obafemi Awolowo left the Western Regional Administration in 1959? And do you think things would have panned out differently for Nigerians right now if he didn't walk away?
Simple answer. Simple answer. The young girl or young boy in primary 5 was hoping that at the end of the year he would go to primary 6. Am I right?
Right.
Good. That was the basic thing. These are regional leaders who are doing wonderful things in their regions. They are also national leaders. And the idea was, okay, if I can do it in this small country, small region, let me see how I can apply it in a larger country called Nigeria, our country. Western region is not above me. It was his place of birth, but Nigeria is his country. So with Azikiwe, so with Ahmadu Bello. It is that natural ambition to go higher and spread the gospel more to more people. If you remember, when we had Western region, Eastern region, and Northern region, the North, for example, was concentrating NNPC, Northern Nigeria Progressive Congress, NEPU, Northern Elements Progressive Union, Northern, then Eastern. The British told us that is where to start. And that was why we now established a federal government. And this is part of our retardation. What was the federal government? Well, the simple explanation in algebraical quotation is weaker center, stronger federation. Stronger regions, weaker center. That was the basic thing that was making Nigeria go. Why? What is the center? The basic unit is the region. Eastern region, Western region, Northern region. Administer yourself, be in control of yourself, do it in this level. But these regions are not countries. They are federating units that want to be one country. And if you want to be one country, Western region could not be dealing with foreign affairs, and this dealing with foreign affairs, and not dealing with foreign affairs. Western region could not create its own army to defend only the West or the other parts. We are a country, we are a federal union, 3 regions. Even at that time, we, the 3 regions, on the demand of among themselves, decided it was right to create another region, the 4th one, which was called the Midwest. What is in the name anyway? Today, we're asking, come back to where we started, where we made the progress, and where there were less conflicts. Today, what have we done? And that's why we are complaining. Reconstruction. We have left the path we should be following, and we are following our own ambition and selfish paths and using it as a cloak to hoodwink the rest of us, and that's why we have complained. So your question is, I want to left with good intention to be a contributor at the bigger level for all Nigerians. And he was seen as opposition. And it's still killing us today. It's still, that theory of our understanding of what opposition is still killing us. And so the ADC says something, and the APC abuses them to hell. You are no use, and so on. Opposition is saying, look, this is the way you are doing it. I think that if we did it this way, it would be better. And those who want really the progress of should come, okay, let's see how we can put it together. For example, nothing stopped President Tinubu on 29th March, 29th May 2023, as his first in office, to invite all members of ODE who are not in his party. Gentlemen, we all struggle for this thing. Let us sit down. We are all ready. We are all claiming we are going to make the country better. That's what the parties are doing. But no, my own way is the only best way. And the other, also opposition became anathema, not to be listened to. That was not what the British taught us. The British Parliament had opposition and the government. And you know, when you see them in their parliament, when but they respect themselves and listen to the views, whether opposition or not. That is part of our failure as we go on. Because we've taken this thing. Why do you want to be a president? Why do you want to be a governor? Why do you want to be a chairman of a local government? The answer, my friends, the answer, my friend, the answer, my friend, is that people are now, they see politics as a profession in which they make money and become rich, not that they are going to serve you. That is why we are having all the problems we are having. So Awolowo went, Awolowo went on campaign in the north. He hired helicopters, which was away. How many of our young boys knew that today? And Northerners were held. These are Nigerians who would otherwise been told, you are Northerners, you are not Westerners, so have to. But there were many people in the north who liked the way Awolowo operated. We know where the water passed Gari and how the water entered the Opiumogol.
All right. Maz, yeah. Now, since we are already on the topic of leadership,
yes,
Nigeria has moved from colonial rule through military regimes, and now we are in democratic governance.
Yeah.
Looking back, how would you assess the quality of leadership across these phases?
Simple answer. It is the poor leadership after those initial progressive, forward-looking leaders that has placed us in the way we are now. The leadership completely lost the objective of their leadership. Take, for example, Michael Obama was Premier of Eastern Region. Premier of Eastern Region, #1 citizen. When he passed on, he didn't have a house that belonged to him. My dear young lady, you are very young, and I know you know Nigeria. Can you call any one leader in Nigeria today who doesn't have one mansion or two here in Nigeria or elsewhere in abroad? Name one. The difference is clear thanks to Sprite. Have I answered your question?
Yes, I think you have. Okay, so let's talk a bit about the speech of the president. Yeah. You know, he said the worst is over and he is hoping for a new Nigeria, you know, while some people are of the opinion that Nigeria is work in progress.
Thank you. Well, I was talking, we are waiting for that. In fact, I was glad I listened to that speech before I came here. You know, that is part of what I'm telling you. The leadership in Nigeria is not sincere. Number one, they are not transparent. Number two, being sincere that they deceive us. And all we are doing is propaganda. The speech I listened to when Nigeria became 65 is the same flamboyant, sweet-speaking rhetoric that I heard when Nigeria was 64. Go and pick that speech, pick this one and tell me what difference is there. This is what I'm talking about, questioning certain things. Oh, I've listened to some commentaries today, those who are pro Mr. President, and those who said, no, President is not that well, is not that flamboyant. And these people are said, oh, opposition. And people like Bayo Ononuga, who is a special aide to Mr. President, stands us and that. You hear what he said about Jonathan? As if when we put Jonathan and Tinubu side by side in what they achieved for Nigeria, they have any comparison. Thanks to God, Reuben Abati confronted him. He was part of Jonathan. And they tell you, the worst is over. Oh, we've taken a turn. Let me tell you, it is our leader refused to address the basic issues. They now ascend and they tell you, you have to do it my own way. And why are we telling you that? Because of something that you have not told us openly that you are trying to acquire and protect. And they are telling us, oh yes, this is what I'm doing. Take, for example, the very first action, removal of fuel subsidy. Because that was where all this katakata started. Recently, I had problem with Enugu state government, not problem really, but an issue. And they said, oh, this issue will be addressed when we have a new head of service because there is nobody. Finally, they appointed a head of service. And after several weeks, I called him. I said, look, this problem we're supposed to have, this issue has been on our table. He says, I know. I am just beginning to see the myriad of the problems that are waiting for me and see how I can order them and how I can prioritize them. I was satisfied. He's looking at the problem. You don't just come and mount there and take the matter, do this. That matter you take without looking at the whole essence of the problem might create you more problem than you have envisaged. What do we have? In 29th May 2023, before Mr. President sat in his office to even look at the problems that many problems inherited from what? From the same party. Let's not, we are trying to forget that now. This administration has been seen as a different administration. When you inherited from the same administration, where the present president was national leader of the ruling party, and the president then was the leader of the ruling party. It is one and the same government, one and the same party. And that was, I hear you people humming on a mandate we stand. And I chuckled. We are singing the mandate of the man whom we employed to rule us, not the mandate we gave him. How far Niger? Do you see the difference?
Speaking of how far Niger, earlier on you made reference to Nigeria being an old man behaving like a baby.
Thank you.
At what point did Nigeria get it wrong?
Chimamanda gave it a name, I've forgotten. I don't know how, that name he gave it. An old man behaving like a small child.
Yes. So at what point did Nigeria get it wrong, and what can we do now to salvage the situation?
You see, thank you. Somebody said, majority of Nigerians, Nigeria is a program in progress. So when you come and tell us on radio, the worst is over, is it over? you sitting here with me, in your daily life, in what you do in 24 hours, is it over? Is the worst over for you? Is that, you see, it is the truth and the propaganda. We must, another thing that has jumped into the leadership, the psychophancy. Those who must sing praise in order to maintain their stomach or their wealth. And so, simple ceremonies like flagging off a project has become an arena for propaganda. No be so, now so. And you look at a man, educated, robust, as he's opening, being a psychopath, and one of them told me, after all, what is wrong with praise singing? And my answer to him was, well, I'm sorry, I see now the level you have arrived. If you see nothing as nothing wrong with praise singing, that means that you are dancing naked in the market. That was my answer. These are the little basic things that make the change and make things hell. Look, let me just give you one other analogy and example, Mr. President. My wife said, this man is great, oh, the most courageous person in Nigeria. This thing we were not able to remove, he has removed it. And I said, no. The man was just making a political statement that the way this thing will be removed, when he sits down, he'll be able to make it easy. But did you know, isn't it true? Is it a lie? That once that statement was made, the NNPC that has the monopoly of energy, fuel crisis, immediately before that statement by the APC, petrol was 195 now, 185 naira per liter, 185 per liter on the 28th of May 2023. Once that statement was made, NNPC adjusted 800 and something naira per liter, 185 to 800. And what followed? Multiplier effect. The transporter who buys the petrol, I used to charge you 500 from Enugu to Onitsha. Said, how can I buy at 800 and charge you 500? His own price went to 2,000. Enugu to Onitsha. The young lady who sells vegetable at 10 naira a wrap wants to carry it to Onitsha, pays 2,000 for transport. And in order to keep her head above water, see now, that 10 naira vegetable now goes to 100 naira. And so the inflation landed on us. And we started crying of hunger. And some of them, these leaders, I say, hunger, you're exaggerating it. Because they are not feeling the hunger. One of them, our leader said, oh, you can go on demonstrating about hunger while we go on eating. What a mockery.
Well, Chief Nduka, there is a whole lot that the Nigerian citizens are, complaining about.
Good.
Which is part of all the analysis that you have made.
Sure.
But I think this is where we'll end that conversation. We believe that in later time we can have much more conversation with you.
Sure.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in the studio this
Bless
morning.
you. All we're asking now for closure is that God, we should not lose hope. But let this leader not talk about us, it's all over. Oh, we've just taken a turn. Oh, the end of the tunnel. But you have not told us how long this tunnel is. It's an end of it. Oh, yes. Oh, things are cheaper. Yet, things are not what it was. It has not returned to normal. Oh, we're on the right path.
All right.
And the pregnant woman has to die before she delivers the baby. Thank you, Nigerians. Remain faithful. My advice, and I've said it, 3 issues to Nigerians. 1, stay safe. Stay safe wherever you are. What do I mean? Security in Nigeria is beyond the governance.
All right, Chief Nduka.
I'm sorry, it's very important. Please, just 2 minutes.
All right.
That's stay safe. Whatever you are doing, you are going to work, you are going to market, please consider your security, your safety. If the environment is not safe enough, please stay away to keep alive.
Okay.
Keep away from trouble.
All right.
Then please, finally, always pray. That is why I started by this God. Oh, this God is a kind God and enduring God. It shall be well with Nigeria.
Amen.
Amen. All right. We are praying for a better country and a better Nigeria. Thank you so much, Chief Nduka Eya. And we just spoke to an elder statesman in Enugu State at Nigeria at 65. Elder States Perspective. Do stay with us. When we return, we'll bring much more conversation.